Hello people of YouTube, it's Deephack here, and welcome to the live stream. Thank you very much for joining me once again, post the video premiere. So today's tutorial 7, JDAM deployment. I hope that everybody enjoyed that. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have in the chat. I'm monitoring the live chat as I always do. Sadly, while watching that premiere, I noticed something. I missed one of the sections out when I was editing the video. So you might be wondering during the absolute release how you tell it that you want it to attack targets 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there was a section of the video that told you how to do that, and somehow I edited it out during the course of making the video. So I'm going to correct that. I'm going to make an updated version of the video and re-upload it and replace this one. It'll probably take me a few days to do that, but I will fix that. But just like the kind of quick verbal version is that when you're on the ground, you go into the stores page and you choose the J82, and on the ODU, one of the things that comes up is one of the prompts is targets. You just press targets and you press 1, 2, 3, 4, and that selects the targets and tells the system that you intend to drop 4 bombs. And of course, as always, you make sure you enable the fuse. Don't leave the fuse unsafe, otherwise it wouldn't do very much. So I apologise for that. I don't know how I missed that. I did actually preview the video, and somehow I must have just phased out or something. I don't notice that one of the sections was missing. It is a fairly small section to the video, so I will fix that. So yeah, I'm now wondering what to do. Why were there second 2 so far? Oh, right, okay, Stevie B, that is an interesting question, and I think I probably know the answer. So the thing is, as you're flying towards the target, the system is constantly recomputing the angle at which the bomb should fly to hit the target. And when you're further away, it will do a kind of flatter trajectory and then curve down. And as you get closer, it will stay high and then go straight down. And I think it's simply the fact that as I was holding down the button to drop all of those bombs, the first 2 came off with the first type profile where they just gently come down, and the second 2 were dropped closer to the target and so had to do the second type of profile where they kind of do a more direct attack from above. That's my theory on that, because the guidance of these bombs is completely automatic. The guidance kit on the back of the bomb basically calculates what it should do given the speed and altitude and distance at which it's launched from the target. So that's what I believe the answer to that is. Yeah, much steeper drop. And actually, if you use the terminal parameters, you can actually tell the bombs what you would like them to do. So there is an option to tell them that you want them to approach from a certain angle, and that you actually want them to dive at a certain angle as well. And of course, if you do that, that tightens the parameters. That means that the maximum and minimum range at which you can launch them becomes a little bit tighter. You can't launch them from as far away or as close because they have to achieve these parameters that you set out for them. So there are lots of interesting ways to employ them. But yes, sadly, I missed out the bit about how to tell them what targets to attack. I will re-upload the video with that section re-implemented. So yeah, I'm thinking about what video to do next. I was thinking either Night Flight or the Lightning II targeting pod, because for many of the weapons that I intend to demonstrate next, we need to know how to work the targeting pod. And to be honest, the targeting pod is a video all in itself because it can do so much. There's almost more complexity in the Lightning II targeting pod than there is in all of the rest of the avionics in the Harrier. It's like you're bolting on an entire other mission computer to the aircraft. So that one would be very interesting, a very capable piece of equipment. Or would you like to see me fly at night, using night vision goggles, forward-looking infrared, and show you how to use things like the flashlight, nice low-tech technology, in the cockpit, and how to set up your cockpit lighting in order to be best compatible with nighttime flying and the night vision goggles. So let me know what you all think. I'm tending towards doing the Lightning II targeting pod, but if anybody is excited to see what it's like to fly the Harrier at night, then I could demonstrate that. I'll be doing that one very soon anyway. And then shortly after that, I'm going to demonstrate laser-guided bombs, the laser JDAMs, and the Maverick missiles. These are all very interesting weapons. You'd like to see nighttime, Stevie B? Well, just for you, I'll make the next one a night flight mission. So we'll see what the night vision goggles are like. Night vision goggles are very interesting because while you're wearing the night vision goggles, you can't really see anything in the cockpit. And this is apparently realistic. I've spoken to aircraft maintainers and military pilots, and they've confirmed this. The goggles are not really like your eyes. So the thing is, your eyes have quite a wide range of... Well, your focal point is quite wide. So if I'm looking at my monitor, I can still make out the detail of things that are on my desk, for example. The night vision goggles don't work like this. They have a very, very narrow focal point. And so in order for them to be useful, the focal point is set right out near infinity, like basically so you can see things outside the cockpit, because that's what they're really for. So the problem is... Oh wow, Tog! YouTube actually warned you of a live stream. Excellent. I'm glad that you're with us. So I was just talking about focal points and night vision goggles. So yeah, they're perfectly focused for looking outside the aircraft, but the moment you look down in the cockpit, everything is just a blur. And what makes it even worse is that they magnify light. So the thing is, of course, much of the stuff in the cockpit is emitting light. That just it just absolutely washes out the display in the goggles. It's like somebody's shining a torch in your eye. So you can't really see the cockpit when you're looking through the goggles. You can still see the HUD, actually, which is quite helpful, because the HUD is focused out at infinity. It's focused out at infinity. So you can read the HUD perfectly, and you can see everything outside the aircraft, but you could barely read anything that's in the cockpit while you've got night vision goggles on. So you have to either hit the button to take them off, or in the real world, the pilots actually normally position them so that they're kind of high, and they can then actually peek underneath the night vision goggles. So they kind of peek under the goggles to see their cockpit, and then they look up into the goggles to see outside of the cockpit, if that makes sense. Now, sadly, when I'm normally flying in DCS, I fly in VR, and so I can't do this. I actually completely cannot do that. So I have to turn my goggles on and off, actually, when I'm flying normally. So, Tog, that brings up a question. What variant of NVGs does DCS try to emulate generation-wise? That's a very good question. I don't know. I don't exactly know. Maybe nighttime will be boring then. Maybe leave that till later. I don't know. Nighttime is actually... It's really, really cool, and there are lots of considerations about how you fly the aircraft. You can put the goggles on, and then you can see outside the aircraft perfectly, but you can't see your cockpit. You can take the goggles off for a moment, and then you can see your cockpit, but you can't see outside. But then you can use your forward-looking infrared camera, and the camera can actually, its video can even be projected onto the HUD. And so that's actually kind of a cool compromise. You can take the goggles off, and when you look through the HUD, you can see everything that's on the ground using the thermal imaging camera, and then you can still read everything in the cockpit at the same time. So, and then of course you've got floodlights and console lighting, and you have your flashlight as well. So you have lots of options when you're flying at night. I'm definitely going to do a video on that anyway, but I also intend to do one on the Lightning II targeting pod. So, any other questions, anyone? Anything that anyone wants to know? Otherwise, I will wrap things up at that point. That's pretty much everything I was intending to say. Cool. Okie dokie. So, thank you very much, everybody, for joining me again. Hopefully that's me now back on a regular schedule. I'll be releasing these videos every week. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you all next time.